Jefferson County Code of Law number 2 is back in session. Court is back in session with the arraignment docket. First case is cause number M333782. Case is filed the state of Texas versus Terry Jerome Booker Jr. Mr. Booker, would you please come forward? Mr. Booker, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Booker, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Mr. Booker, you may put your hand down. How you doing, Mr. Booker? Doing good? Mr. Booker, I have before me a document that is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without Attorney. Do you recognize this document? You recognize it? Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? At the top of this document, there are a set of initials next to a line that states, I'd like to have my case reset to hire an attorney. Did you place your initials on this document? Now, Mr. Booker, before you signed and initialed this document, did you read the document? Did you understand what you read? And is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Okay. Now, Mr. Booker, your case will be reset to give you an opportunity to hire your attorney. Now, before I send you over to our court coordinator, I need to give you some bond conditions. Mr. Booker, do you see that document that's just been handed to you that is titled Standard Bond Conditions in County Code of Law number 2? And it reads, following the return of a criminal information in County Code of Law number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas, all bail bonds executed for release of any defendant named herein are ordered subject to the additional conditions. Number 1, the defendant shall commit no offense against the laws of this state, any other state, or of the United States. Do you understand that condition? Condition number 2, the defendant shall submit to testing for drugs and alcohol at any time as directed by the court. The court may revoke the bond and order the arrest of any defendant who A, refuses to submit to a test for drugs and alcohol when directed to do so by the court, or B, submit to a test for drugs and alcohol, and the test indicates the presence of drugs and alcohol in the defendant's body. And that's pursuant to the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 17.44, Section A2 and Section C2. Do you understand that condition? And condition number 3 reads, the defendant shall not communicate either directly or indirectly with the alleged victim of the pending offense, and the defendant shall not go near any residence, school, or other location frequented by the alleged victim. Do you understand that condition? And condition number 4 doesn't apply to you because that only applies in a DWI case or driving while intoxicated case. Your case is not a DWI case. Now, if you violate any one of these bond conditions, your bond can be revoked. And if your bond is revoked, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Do you understand that? Now, Mr. Booker, you're going to stand on the X in front of our court coordinator. She's going to reset your case. Once your case is reset, you will be free to go and you have a best day. Next case is cause number M334123. Excuse me, cause number M334132. And the case is styled the state of Texas versus Jamie LaBeouf. For the record, your full name is Jamie LaBeouf. Mr. LaBeouf, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. LaBeouf, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Mr. LaBeouf, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. LaBeouf? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. LaBeouf. I have documents before me. The first document is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without Attorney. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line
Yes,
that is titled Defendant? And are these your initials on the line that states I want to apply for a court-appointed attorney? Yes, I also have a document that is titled Jefferson County Affidavit of Indigence. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And on page 2 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defender Signature.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Booker, that door is locked. You got to go through the other door. And is this your signature on this line?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. LeBeau, before you signed and initialed these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did you read the documents? Did you understand what you read?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. LeBeau, you meet the eligibility requirements of the appointment of court-appointed attorney. The attorney that will be appointed to represent you in this case is Attorney Marva Provo. Attorney Provo will be given information on how to contact you. You will also be given information on how to contact her. Once you get that, you will be given that information by our court coordinator. Once you get the information from the court coordinator, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Please stand over in front of the court coordinator. Next case is cause number M332424. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Edward Lee Brown Jr. Brown, would you please come forward? Mr. Brown, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Brown, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brown, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Brown?
Good.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Brown, your full name is Edward Lee Brown Jr.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brown, I have before me a document that is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without Attorney. You recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? Are these your initials on the line stating you want to apply for a court-appointed attorney?
Yes.
Also, I have a document that's titled Jefferson County Affidavit of Indigence. You recognize this document? And on page 2 of this same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant Signature. Is this your signature? Now, Mr. Brown, before you signed and initialed these documents, did you read the documents? Did you understand what you read? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Brown, I've read your answers. Based on your answers, you meet the eligibility requirements of the appointment of court-appointed attorney. The attorney that will be appointed to represent you in this case is Attorney Nathan Reynolds. Mr. Brown, you can have a seat in that chair with the black and yellow tape. And when the court coordinator is ready for you, she's going to call you up to the window. When you go up to the window, you'll be, once you finish following her direction, you'll be free to leave and you have a blessed day.
Yes.
Estevani Perez Vale. Your full name is Estevani Stephanie Perez Vale.
Yeah, Valley.
Valley. Okay. Ms. Perez Valley, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Perez Valley, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Ms. Valley, you may put your hand down. How are you doing? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ms. Perez Valley, I have before me 2 documents. The first document is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without Attorney. You recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? Are these your initials on the line stating you would like to apply for a court-appointed attorney? And the next document is titled Jefferson County Affidavit of Indigence. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of this same document, there is a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
Yeah.
Now, Ms. Perez Valley, before you signed and initialed these documents, did you read the documents?
Yes.
Did you understand what you read? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Ms. Valley, Perez Valley, I've read your answers in these documents. Based on your answers, you meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney. An attorney that will be appointed to represent you in this case is Attorney Joel Vasquez. Attorney Vasquez will be given information on how to contact you, and you will be given information on how to contact him. Our court coordinator will give you that information. Once you get that information, you'll be free to leave and you have a blessed day. Please stand and have a seat in that fourth chair with the black and yellow tape on it. Next case is cause number M334188. Case is style the state of Texas versus Stephanie Joe Hebert or Stephanie Joe Hebert. For the record, you please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you may put your hand down. Now, do you pronounce your name Stephanie Joe Hebert or Hebert? Hebert,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Okay, how are you doing, Ms. Hebert?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ms. Hebert, I have before me two documents. First document is judge's explanation of rights of defendants without attorney. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials on the line stating you'd like to apply for court-appointed attorney?
Yes, sir.
I have to look at this. Just have a seat. I need to look at this one again.
Okay. Yes.
All right. This one. Next. Next case is cause number M332808. Case is style the state of Texas versus Joseph David Loop. Mr. Loop, your full name, well, is it Joseph David Loop or Loopy? Loop. Mr. Loop, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Loop, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Mr. Loop, you may put your hand down. How you doing, Mr. Loop? You doing good? Mr. Loop, I have two documents before me. The first document is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without Attorney. You recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? Are these your initials on the line stating you'd like to apply for a court-appointed attorney? I also have a document that's titled Jefferson County Affidavit of Indigence. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of the same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant's Signature. Is this your signature? Mr. Luke, before you signed and initialed these documents, did you read the documents? And did you understand what you read? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Luke, I read your answers in these documents. Based on your answers, you meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney. And the attorney that will be appointed to represent you is Attorney Kyle Walker. Attorney Walker is going to be given information on how to contact you, and you also be given information on how to contact him. Our court coordinator will give you that information. You're going to have a seat in that high chair right there on the wall and wait for your name to be called. Once your name is called, you go to the one that our court coordinator will reset your case. Once you reset your case, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Next case is cause number M333708. Case is style the state of Texas versus James A. Lewis. Oh, wow, that was the wrong Lewis. Got two Lewis. I mean, should be, is it Edward Lewis? Edward Lewis. Edward Latar Lewis. Yeah. Mr. Lewis, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Lewis, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So have you got? Mr. Lewis, you may put your hand down. Now, Mr. Lewis, your full name is Edward Latar Lewis. How you doing, Mr. Lewis? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Now, Mr. Lewis, I have before me two documents. First document is titled Judgment Explanation of Rights Without Attorney. You recognize this document? You recognize it? And is this your signature on this document? Yes, sir. On the line that's titled Defendant. Are these your initials on the line stating you'd like to apply for a court-appointed attorney? Yes, sir. And I have another document here. This document is titled Jefferson County Affidavit of Injuries. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of the same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant's Signature. Is this your signature? Now, Mr. Lewis, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I just showed you, did you read the documents? And did you understand what you read? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Yes. Now, Mr. Lewis, based on your answers, you do not meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney. And so therefore, you can either have your case reset to hire your own attorney, or you can waive your right to have an attorney and represent yourself. Okay, just Mr. Porter, he has to change his thing on this one. He can scratch through, just extrude that and put it on the other line. Okay, just have a seat in that first chair that has black and yellow tape. Okay, the next case is cause number M334108. Case is style of State of Texas versus Christopher Ray Bishop. Mr. Bishop, would you please come forward? As Christopher Ray Bishop Jr. Mr. Bishop, is your full name Christopher Ray Bishop Jr.? Mr. Bishop, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Bishop, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Mr. Bishop, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Bishop? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Now, Mr. Bishop. I have a document before me that is titled Judge's Explanations of Rights to Defendants Without Attorney. Do you recognize this document? Is this your signature on the line that is titled Defendant? Or are these your initials on the line stating you'd like to apply for a court-appointed attorney? Yes. Now, Mr. Bishop, I also have another document here. This document is titled Jefferson County Affidavit of Indigence. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line as titled Defendant Signature? Now, Mr. Bishop, before you signed and initialed these documents, did you read the documents? And did you understand what you read? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Let me do this here. I'm actually some financial information. Normally, all proceedings and trials in court should be open to the public. However, pursuant to Lilly versus State 365 Southwest 3rd 321, the right to a public trial is not absolute and may be outweighed by other competing interests, such as interest in security and the disclosure of non-public information, and to ensure that a person receives a fair trial. And I'm getting ready to ask you some financial information, which will be, I guess, non-public. And so the court is going to close this session